Hello, I'm Wendy Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Realizing Potential. Today I have with me in the studio a woman who is she just illuminates and emanates just wonderful, wonderful energy, and it is so contagious. I've been in awe of her for probably, I've known her for a little over a year, and she has a type of presence that just lights up a room and people gravitate to her, and you'll see what I'm talking about. She is none other than Dr. Janee. How are you?
I am well.
Good. You're just so amazing.
Thank you for having me on. I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, she really is talking about me. It's nice to hear people say great things about you, right?
Oh, absolutely. All true. Yeah, you and I met, and maybe it's been longer than a year. Yeah, time flies.
I think it's been almost like 2 years
now.
Wow.
Okay. But yeah, it was a memorable meeting. You were doing a seminar, and very few people have this gift to then get people to connect, and then the connection is not only that shared energy, but just a lot of commonalities, and so everybody just felt forthcoming. So you were able to converge all of these minds and these spirits, and so it was a memorable moment for me, and that's always been lasting. And then I've heard you do motivational speaking, and you're just walking into your calling.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but you have an interesting story, and I want you to share that with the viewers, that you just made a decision to walk into what you loved. You actually started down a different road. So tell our viewers about your academic path and why we're here today.
Well, the doctor piece comes from a doctorate of pharmacy. I graduated from Florida A&M University. Go Rattlers.
Yay.
And after graduating with my doctorate of pharmacy degree, I actually started working in the field, in the industry. And I got to this place, and I'm sure a lot of people are either there or have been there, where they feel like there's more, like there's something literally in the pit of your gut saying, you know what? There's something more for you to do. And I heard that. I literally felt it. I was going into work and making great money, a six-figure salary, but yet I felt unfulfilled. I felt like there was more to do. And people always ask me, what did you love so much about being a pharmacist, or what do you love the most about being a pharmacist? And my response was always the same: the people. I always wanted people to feel good. And I can even remember as a little girl, I always loved, even as a teenager, I always loved to make people feel good. I always wanted people to smile. I always wanted people to feel great about themselves. And it's amazing at how that same mindset carried with me the older that I got.
Sure.
And I made a decision at some point. I said, you know what, Janee, you can't continue to complain about something that you're not willing to change.
Sure.
And I began to do a search within myself. And it actually took for me losing my job for me to do that search. I was fired from my job, and I said, you know what? I take this as a sign that maybe I need to start shifting a little bit to see what I really want to feel fulfilled. And it was through that search and then working with a mentor of my own that I realized, you know what? I can make this a career. I can make a career out of making other people feel great. How awesome is that, right? So I actually started my quest, started doing free workshops, and I realized that this was something that I was great at. I started in the confidence area, and a part of my brand is still building people's confidence, but I've shifted it a little bit, but I love what I do.
Well, we can tell. I certainly can tell. And what I love about you is that you emanate and you project what you wish to perceive or to receive. And although that sounds basic and fundamental, that is difficult for a lot of people. And you own feelings, but you are very conscious and very deliberate about, this is what I want, how I want people to feel. And so I must then project that. So I've again seen you in several different settings, and the whole room just becomes contagious. You've got a great spirit, a great smile, and it's very genuine, and people can connect with that. They can certainly connect with that. And I've even seen you bring people to tears because again, they're able to tap into, we walk around a lot of times with, and I know you encounter this with people walking around with masks. And it really, it is, we just going through, navigating through life, not being our genuine, authentic selves. Many of us don't know who that individual is. And so you help them through that discovery process.
Yeah, my goal is everyone that encounters Dr. Janee, I want there to always be an experience. You may not remember what my name is, but you won't forget how I made you feel.
Sure.
You won't forget the nuggets that I shared. And if you got an ounce of something that I said to help you to shift your life, shift your thinking, shift your mindset, and shift your money, I've done my job. That is my whole goal of giving people an experience. If it's a quote, if it's a TV show such as this, if it's a book, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, a video, I want you to get an experience.
I love that. I love that. So I'm curious because you're human. And so I know you have those moments, you know, you're working, you have your business and you're trying to get it to grow. You have a blossoming young man developing, you and your husband are working. And so there's just a lot of moving parts. And so I know, there's some days, you know, this, you got to get this, you got to work on this, all this fabulous that we see before us. So what does that process look like when you have those moments, those human moments when you're like, I don't feel like it? What does that entail to then get you back on the right track?
I told a friend of mine one day, and I'll never forget, I was living in Tallahassee at the time and I was on the phone with her. And I said, sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to just be who we are in that moment.
Yes.
And I call that embracing who we are. Because sometimes we don't like who we are at the moment. We don't like our situation. We may not like being in the place that we're in. But when you get to a place where you can embrace that moment and accept that moment for what it is and say, you know what, I have the power to change this moment.
Sure.
And when we get engulfed in that moment and begin to shift our thinking, that's when things change. I know 2012, when I lost my job, I think that was 2012 or 2013, I can't remember. And my husband and I, we were homeless. We were homeless for almost a year, over a year, I think it was about a year. And you can imagine the emotions that I went through. And even now with building a business, it still takes, it's another step to climb. And with dealing with the facets of life and being married and being a mom and doing all of these different things, I literally have to give myself permission to be human. So I cry, I get angry, I have moments where I literally just have to say, you know what, it's time to get it together.
Yes.
I have that moment because we have to give ourselves permission to have that moment. I think the challenge with a lot of us, before women were the only ones doing it, but now I believe it's manifesting in men where we're camouflaging our true selves and our true emotions in that moment, that we're not dealing with the real issues at heart. We're not dealing with that, with the fact that I'm in pain, with the fact that I'm angry, with the fact that I'm sad, and I just don't know how to kick this, right? We're not dealing with the fact that I'm unhappy with my life, but we're camouflaging it. We're putting makeup on it. We're putting clothes on it. We're putting shoes on it. We're putting hair on it. We're cutting hair. And it's so important that we confront the we that we see.
Indeed.
Before the we that we see explodes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Or it somehow consumes us into this little puddle of what used to be us.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are excellent points. And you reminded me that, yes, I'm human too. And I had a realization of that. I mean, and you know that, but it's when you're faced with it. And so mine was probably about a month ago, and I had a patch of about a 3-week period, and it was super rough. Particularly because as I grow older, I learned that as I think many of us do, we like to control, and I had no control over this situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just had to wait it out. My role was very limited in terms of how I could try to and just kind of pray and hope for the best. So you get over that moment, and then I had to go through what did I just go through? So that was a whole different ordeal. And so then I had people that were close to me saying, oh, it turned out well. You should be over that. Be very thankful. The Creator brought you through that. It didn't turn out that way. But there was a process where I was then that's when I had my collapse and my grieving and my, and so, but to the point that you made, I allowed myself that time period, but then I had to really make a conscious decision. Okay, yeah, how long are you going to do this? Because it's going to become you, and you go through the questioning process. So, and we as women, we're so busy trying to, in particular, and I know men have to deal with this as well, but because we're women, we're so many things to so many different people, and so we don't ever grant ourselves permission to, okay, let me go through this moment, let me have it, because I got to go back to being mom, I got to go back to being wife, or director on the job, whatever it is that you have to do, and we wear so many different hats. But yeah, you have to deal with it before it deals with you.
Oh yes. Yeah. Because we see so many of us are imploding and exploding, and it's sad because those of us who are parents, I always say that, and we've heard the saying so many times, that our children don't do what we say, they do what we do.
Absolutely.
And if we're not careful, we continue a vicious cycle. We create more cycles that our children will then observe. This is what I saw mom do. This is what I saw dad do. So let me do it.
Right.
And sometimes unconsciously and subconsciously, they begin to create what we created all over again on a whole nother level.
Oh my goodness, yes. And are we always able to handle that whole? Yeah, so you have to look at and reassess. It's that assessment process that will sometimes blow your mind.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of validity to that statement about the little mini me's running around, because you help to create that. So you're doing a little bit of everything. All of it is amazing.
Thank
but you
you.
are committed to this quest to empower and educate individuals. I've seen your groupings typically have been women, but I'm sure you have diverse audiences. So what's on the horizon? I understand there's a book in the making. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yes, my book. I'm so excited. This is like birthing, it is. It's a good birth though, because it has been a process, and I gave myself permission to take my time with it, so that anyone who reads it again will gain an experience. So the title of my book is 40 Days to a Better You. And if you've ever read The Daily Bread, is something very similar. You get a small piece, and then, because I believe we're in a day and age now where everyone is always on the go. We're always doing something, even when we're looking at a video, we're looking at TV, we end up doing this. It's like everybody has ADHD, right? Or AD. We're on the phone, we're looking at the TV, we're fussing at the children, we're doing all of these different things. And my whole goal for writing this book is to give anyone who just wants to become better something small to become better every single day.
Wonderful.
Just like, I did a video last week on Periscope, and I talked about, how we really want to get to the finish line so fast, but we neglect to realize that we can't eat a whole apple in one gulp. We have to take little bites of it. So in order for us to become better, we have to do little things over a long period of time, or a period of time, to become better.
Certainly.
So my goal is from day one in teaching you how to start your day, something simple. And then at the end, allowing you to journal about how you feel, again, to deal with and embrace who you are in that moment. And day 2 on to the 40th day goes the same way. So every day I give my readers something small to help them to get through their day, or to complete their day, or to what to deal with in the middle of the day. So it encompasses everything from mindset to finances, on how to create a better life, relationships. I address some of everything in the book, all to become better.
Excellent, excellent. It reminded me, or reminds me, and I look forward to reading it. And the name of the book escapes me, and so does the author. But it was he's a minister, and he would provide just snippets, as you said, just kind of little guideposts for President Barack Obama. And he later realized that he had sent so many that he compiled as a compilation. And so he authored a book, and it's amazing. And so just kind of little spiritual food to embark his day during his years within the White House. And so we need that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the morning, throughout the day. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because it's constant, and we're bombarded with information, news, and so you have to be, and I've been shifting my thinking in terms of what does my diet look like, and not in terms of food consumption, but what do I take in. So I'm always on my kids about, what are you all watching? What are you all listening to? Because that's registering. You're feeding yourself with that. So that sounds like a much needed, and I'm sure a very welcome book. But one of the things that you consistently talk about, and I think it's important, is how there are certain components in our life or areas in our life, and they're all interconnected or dependent upon one another. Share with them. It's the peace, the prosperity, and I'm missing
the profit.
The profit. Tell our viewers a little bit about that.
My whole focus is helping individuals to create a life of prosperity, and it encompasses what I call the 3 Ps by Dr. Janee's definition of prosperity. Because a lot of times when we hear prosper, we think of just money.
Sure.
But I truly believe that it is truly perfect and right for us to have peace and money, and also to earn money doing what we absolutely love. I truly believe that encompasses true prosperity, because there are so many people who have riches, but then again, they don't have any peace. And some of them are earning money and making money in areas that really don't fulfill them.
Right.
I heard, what was it, Les Brown say that, I think it was Les Brown, please forgive me for the misquote, that there's the richest area in the country is the cemetery, the graveyard.
Yes.
Where people have literally died full of ideas, full of things that could have changed this whole earth, but never dared to do so because they lived in fear. And it is truly my goal to empower people to really realize that you can make money doing what you absolutely love to do and have a peaceful and confident life. So that is my goal in building my brand, is to ensure and empower individuals to live a life of the 3 Ps.
That's excellent. One of the things, you made me think of 2 things. My mom, who's deceased, and about a year before her passing, she won an award for her writing. And so the family was blown away, because we're like, Mommy, we didn't know you could write.
Wow.
But then after passing, and then you go through the arduous process of looking, and cleaning up, addressing the estate, and she was a phenomenal writer. So so the whole thing of the cemetery, we're like, she should have been a published author. Now, why she didn't go through that or fulfill it, I don't know. It may have just been life. And that was the other point that I want to make. We always are just foolish thought that, I'll put it off. Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next year. And as if that is promised to us. So it's maximizing the time that you have, however long that is, because none of us know. Right. But I love that it's all interconnected. You could have all the money in the world, but not have peace. You could have money issues, which then conflicts or compromises that peace of mind. So you have to be deliberate about all 3 of those.
Absolutely. Because I truly believe that's a part of us living a true, whole, holistic life.
Right. What do you attribute that to? Is it just bad practices learned over? Are we seeing somebody else modeling that behavior that we saw our parents display? Or
I believe I always talk about the vicious cycles that are created. I had this revelation about a couple of months ago. And during my prayer time, I realized that with each generation, when it came down to education, there was always an improvement. My maternal great grandmother and grandparents, my grandmother was a maid. My grandfather was a caddy for a golf course. And in those days, that wasn't something admirable as it is now. My grandmother, my mom's mother, maternal grandmother, she didn't graduate from high school, but she went back and got her GED and went on to be an LPN. My mom, she graduated from high school and she went on to get her bachelor's in sociology. My sister went and got her bachelor's in psychology, and she went back to get her bachelor's in nursing. And then I have achieved of getting my doctorate.
Yes.
My mom and my dad both were entrepreneurs. My mom is still living. My father passed away. But my mom started a vending business. My father was a DJ, and I since have started my own business. So I said all of that to say that with each generation, I believe that it's supposed to get better and better. But what I believe happens is, as you were stating, a lot of people grow up and don't get an ounce of what the good life can be. And I believe even as children, I believe that we're created to be hungry for greater. But if we don't see the greater, it's hard for me to realize or even get the vision that I can become greater.
Right.
So I believe that at some point, my grandmother decided, although this was the life for her parents, although they did the best that she could do, she then was empowered and pushed by them to do even greater. And my mom was pushed by her to do even greater. And my sister and I, of course, we were pushed. Education was very, very much pushed in our household. And because I saw that my parents were entrepreneurs, even as a little girl, I knew that that was a possibility for me. So that's how I got into where I am today. And I think we're in a day and time now where people are tired of the womp, 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 womp. Show me something.
Sure.
And especially our kids, with social media being on a huge horizon and it's never going away. I believe people, especially young people, are hungry for greater. They're seeing it. So we have to show them in a different and even a greater capacity of what life can be so that they'll have a greater horizon to seek.
Speak to our young people in particular, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. The challenge that I see with a lot of young people is because that what they see is so instant, that I can switch to another channel or I can switch to another feed and there it is. They're bombarded with it. Then there's that mindset that the process of achievement is just as fast, and it is not. It is not. So yeah, let's speak to that, the need for the discipline, and you're going to have to work for it, and it may not occur overnight. It may not occur 2 years from now.
Exactly. I know when I started my business, initially when I started my first business, I was probably about 27, 28. And at that time, what I call like the flashing lights, you would go on the internet and you would see that everybody was doing so well and they were making $100K a year or $100K a month. And being the person that I was at the time and being immature, I didn't realize that there was a process that they either had to go through to achieve that, or that some of them were blatantly being dishonest about how much they were making. And I realized that everyone wasn't being authentic. And then along that line, I realized that everyone's journey is different.
Sure.
I believe that our true greatness truly lies in our ability to be resilient, regardless of the challenging road that we're faced with. And it's so important that we realize in order for us to really benefit from something great, we have to be willing to stand strong and stay the course, regardless of how challenging it may be. And I believe it's so important that we're honest with people, with our journey. I think that's the challenging thing, that people are ashamed of. It took me 2 years to make this amount of money, or it took me 10 years to get to this level of success. But the reality of it is, it's not so much what you made, but it's who you became along that journey.
Oh, that's so powerful.
I think that's so important. That was something that I had to realize, because when we look at people, like I'll take someone as simple as Oprah, because everybody knows who Oprah is. If we look decades back, look at where Oprah started.
Sure.
Humble beginnings.
Absolutely.
But we're so impressed with her current state of the OWN network, but never considered looking retrospectively on Oprah's life.
Right. And what a great example. And even with the OWN network, I've heard her do several interviews where there was a point early on during its inception, I think the first 2 years, where she was like, I made a mistake. This isn't going to work. This is the success that I thought it was going to be. And I guess it was her connection with Tyler Perry that was pivotal in transforming that. But my point is, and even throughout that process, she's an accomplished woman in so many different levels and mediums and genres. We still have difficult times, but what do you do with that journey, with that moment? And what are the lessons that you're supposed to learn from it, so that when you take the next step, oftentimes it's just to have a better appreciation of whatever the next is going to be. Yeah,
because you can get so hungry. I was telling a dear friend of mine, and you and I know her. the same. She has so many great things going on, magazine, and starting a school. And I had to encourage her. I said, please embrace the moment, because you'll never get this moment again.
And she shared that you said that with her.
And I thought that was so important, because, you know, we seek success, and then we get there and it's like, okay, I'm here. So what's the next?
What's next? Right.
You know, that we don't embrace that I've achieved this. Right. How amazing am I?
Experience. Appreciate the experience.
Absolutely.
The process that it took to get there.
Because if not, you're always chasing something and you never, again, you're still not fulfilled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. Yeah, that's it's always, and I think that's we're a reflection of society. What's you're right, always chasing the next, and it's never enough, and it takes those moments where someone has to remind you and say, do you understand that you published a magazine?
That's
produced
major.
A magazine, and you're not 40 yet, and yeah, you know, and you have children, and you're still, that you made some serious magic occur.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's, again, back to that commitment, and that's a perfect example of, it's not going to be easy. And I'm sure she shared many of those stories about that. That process wasn't easy at all, but all we see is the finished product, and it is an amazing product. Yeah.
And we have to, I want people to always realize, again, and someone even told me this. I was working with a marketing coach at one time, and she told me, she said, honestly, because I think I was having a moment then, and she said, honestly, I can tell you clients, she said, I won't reveal who they are, but some of them have been completely, blatantly dishonest about how much they've made, all to attract this idea that, hey, I'm doing this, but I'm really not.
Right.
And then people we have compared, because I've done it too, especially when I started my business. I was comparing myself to other people who I thought were making this much money, or who said they were making this amount of money, and I was feeling so low, because I'm going like, okay, by now I should have turned over X amount of dollars, but really, am I comparing myself to someone who's truly honest and authentic?
Excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah. So really, oftentimes, one of our competitors, one of our main competitors, needs to be the reflection in the mirror.
Amen to that.
Yeah, that's who we really. Yeah, because you know that story.
Yeah,
all too well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When will the book come out?
The book will be released April. Yes.
How can we purchase it? And
if you visit www.doctor, that's literally drjanee.com, and you can definitely get all of the details there. There's even also a place to sign up to make sure that you are one of the first ones to know about my book, because I'll be giving goodies to those who are actually connected with me via social media, as well as on my website, especially my website.
Good. And so if anyone's interested in terms of bringing you on board, do they want speaking engagements, or for you to speak with an intimate group, or to serve as a motivational coach, or they can also reach you through the website as well?
They can, or you can email the company directly at info@drjanee.com.
Okay.
And we'll get right with you.
Good. Well, you are such a visionary. So before we wrap up, 2 questions. What do you envision for Dr. Janee in the next 5 to 10 years? What does that look like for you? I know you're going to be impacting larger audiences, but what's the course? What's the method we're going to do that? And I'm curious to know, who is it that you look to that kind of serves as a coach, as someone said earlier, whether they're a virtual coach or someone that you actually speak to on a regular basis?
Well, I'll answer the first part.
Okay.
My goal in the next 5 to 10 years is to have a full operating training and consulting company where I work with both corporations, because I feel like corporations are in need of a shifting in how they connect with their consumers. And even how they train their employees, because I feel like I know that if you have great employees, joy-filled employees, or employees who are working in areas in your company that fulfill them most, they will do a dynamic job. Hence, you can attract all of the clients, all of the customers that you need. Also, in another branch of Dr. Janee, my goal is to create programs that teach our young people about entrepreneurship as well as financial. So by the time you graduate from high school, you know what your purpose is, or you at least know how to connect with your purpose, or you've already created a business.
I love that.
My mentors, oh gosh. I'll give two. My first mentor was Darnyelle A. Jervey. Phenomenal business coach and consultant. Phenomenal woman. If you don't know who she is, please look her up. Amazing at what she does. Okay. Simply put, she teaches business how to profit. She grows businesses, period. That is her goal and focus. Excuse me. And also, as shallow as it may sound, my mom.
Oh no, that's not yeah.
My mom, as a little girl, my mom has been through so much, and I've seen her hit some of the lowest points in her life, and I've seen her become so resilient. And because I've observed my mom at her weakest point, because one thing my mom never did, she never hid her emotions from us. And I'm so grateful that she didn't, because it gave me permission to own my own.
Yes.
And not hide how I feel.
Sure.
And to see her go through so much in life and rise to the occasion and still hold her own, even at the age of 63 now, she's still recreating a life of her own.
Excellent.
I just love it, and I'm inspired by it. I really, really am.
Thank you for sharing that, particularly as parents. And so I'm not sure where this came about, where we need to always put a brave front for our children, and we do a disservice when we do that.
Absolutely.
Because that is not how life is going to always. There are going to be some knee buckling moments in life. It's how you respond.
Absolutely.
Right. And so we need to, again, be our authentic selves, and we are not superwoman and superman all of the time.
Please get that out of your definition.
Oh my gosh, right. So for them
your
to
vocabulary.
Right, because yeah. Because we're teaching them the wrong lesson, right? That I'm just supposed to plow through this, and it's going to be difficult, but I'm still supposed to come out even stronger. And that's always the goal. But part of that development of strength is that you sometimes just concede to the moment. That's a part of the rebuilding process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful that she showed me that, because, a lot of times, I've had friends of mine who told me that their moms they never seen emotion from their parents.
Never saw them cry or.
I would see my mom cry, and then I would see her pick up the pieces and keep going. And I believe that is what has helped me as an adult, and even as a mom and as a wife, to be able to own my emotion in this moment and pick up the pieces and keep going.
Absolutely. You have to. You have to. So my mom's name was Barbara, and my godmother's name is Barbara.
Oh.
So when I was going through my ordeal about 3 or 4 weeks, about a month ago, and so I called her just a mess.
Wow.
And I said, here I am, a 50-year-old woman. I cannot climb into my mother's lap.
Oh, wow.
So I've got to call you. And she lives in suburbs of Detroit, and so she allowed me to do that. And so I had my meltdown over the phone, and she let me be. I needed to be a little girl, and it was a situation involving one of my children, but you're human.
Yeah,
you are absolutely human, and you need to let them see that. Don't stay in it long, but certainly acknowledge it.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, I'm excited about your continued work, excited about your book.
Thank you.
And when it is published, you'll have to come back. And
yeah,
we'll have to get with some of those people that we know that do things very well and we thinking about a book signing?
I am.
Okay, great.
I am. I'm going to do one locally, and my goal is to do one at home in Miami.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so here is I'm giving you an assignment. Once the book has been published, we've done the book signing, we need to convene some individuals. We'll have a little book club, discuss the book, and maybe we can come back and talk about how it's impacted everybody on the show.
Love that idea.
Okay, very good. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Continue on, just lighting up whatever room, whatever building, whatever city you step into.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's just, and I'm so proud of you. So many people, as we talked about, leave this world and they don't pursue their passion and walk into their calling. And you just remain steadfast and committed to doing that and teaching us to be brave and to do that ourselves, whatever that is.
Hey, it's those little simple things that we do over time that get us the massive result.
Absolutely, absolutely. So proud of you. Love you to pieces.
Thank you.
Continued
Love you
success.
too, Wendy.
You're welcome. Viewers, thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Realizing Potential. I'm Wendy Wilson, and I will see you next time.